The Conservative Party is going to have to make a decision about how to stop the Boris Johnson assassin, Rishi Sunak, a high-tax, big-state globalist, before it's too late. The backstabbing Chancellor launched his highly scripted leadership campaign today, and as ever, it was slick but soulless.
Boris Johnson is one of the most remarkable people I've ever met. And whatever some commentators may say, he has a good heart. Did I disagree with him? Frequently. Is he flawed? Yes. And so are the rest of us. Was it no longer working? Yes. And that's why I resigned. But let me be clear. I will have no part in a rewriting of history that seeks to demonise Boris, exaggerate his faults, or deny his efforts. Yeah.
Sunak even tried to get away without answering any difficult questions from the country's newspapers until the crafty Sun political editor Harry Cole just wouldn't let him get away with it. Look.
That's all we've got time for now. I'm sure we'll be doing this lots more. Right? I've got a bunch of people waiting for me next door. But we have actually, Harry, we can do one from you quickly, and then Nissi will get mad at me, but then I'm going to be late for these next things. Go on.
Thank you. You're standing to be the next Prime Minister. You can take a couple of questions from some journalists. Mr. Sunak, Dominic Cummings has been openly campaigning to make you the Prime Minister for almost a year now. Are you grateful for his support, and will there be a job in Downing Street for him in your administration? And one more, if I may, given I've only got you for a little while. Last week, the Prime Minister pledged to increase defence spending to 2.5% of GDP by the end of this decade. Will you continue with that vow in office if you win? And if so, why did you ignore repeated warnings this year that Britain will miss the crucial NATO target of 2% on defence spending?
OK, two excellent questions, Harry, so thanks for asking them. So, look, firstly on Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings has had absolutely nothing to do with this campaign and will have absolutely nothing to do with any government that I'm privileged to lead. Yeah.
What we do know is that Team Sunak is doing anything possible to get himself on the ballot versus a no-hoper. A total no-hoper like the COVID authoritarian Ramona Jeremy Hunt. The Mail on Sunday's political columnist Dan Hodges revealed tonight one rival camp tells me Gavin Williamson, who is on Team Rishi, has organised siphoning off some votes to let Jeremy Hunt get over the threshold. Meanwhile, the right of the Tory party remains depressingly divided between brilliant candidates who would all do a far superior job to Fishy Rishi in number 10 Downing Street. But the problem is that Kemi Badenoch, Suella Braverman, Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss will split the vote, risking the nightmare scenario of a wet candidate against Sunak on the final ballot, where the power transfers to Conservative members. That's why Team Truss has warned, back me or get Sunak. And today, Boris Johnson loyalists swung their support behind the Foreign Secretary.
Particularly concerned about the 14 million people who voted for a manifesto and voted for a government, that the candidate that we select, and for me it's Liz, who I'm going to back, will continue with those manifesto promises and will continue to deliver for the government and for the Conservative Party moving forward. Shaken.
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm also going to be backing Liz Truss. As Nadine said, I think she's as strong a Brexiteer as either of us is, and that's really important. She has been my strongest supporter in the Cabinet in getting Brexit opportunities. When we discussed taxation, Liz was always opposed to Rishi's higher taxes. That, again, is proper conservatism, and I think she's got the character to lead the party and the nation.
Now, that intervention came less than 24 hours after the Culture Secretary's extraordinary interview on this show last night, where she told me Sunak had spent months plotting against the Prime Minister, even neglecting matters of state in favour of personal ambition.
And some difficult decisions were taken, like when we wanted to lift restrictions from COVID. It was very difficult to get the Chancellor at meetings to commit to any policy at all. Rishi had been planning his campaign to the letter, launched it the day it was ready, and everybody else is kind of like blindsided and thinking, what's going on? We've all been working so hard. How can he have been that campaign ready? Well, the answer is he wasn't working so hard. We all were.
Utterly damning. By the way, Sunak received one endorsement today that certainly will not help his chances.
I'm voting for Rishi Sunak to be the next Prime Minister. I know all of the candidates, excellent candidates, and I think that Rishi Sunak is the best placed of all of them to take this country through difficult times. I've seen him working up close in some of the most difficult and challenging circumstances this country has faced in peacetime. And I know that he's got the character, he's got the experience, and he's got the plan to get us through. And then to go on and win a general election and protect this country against a deal between Starmer and Sturgeon, which is the alternative if we don't win. So I'll be voting for Rishi Sunak, and I hope you do too.
Look, when disgraced ex-Health Secretary Matt Hancock is praising your character, you know the game is up. I actually think this leadership election is shaping up as the next Brexit or Red Wall, where the elite, the Tory grandees, the political establishment, the BBC and the vast bulk of the mainstream broadcast media are so blinkered that, as usual, they're missing the real story. So as I've written in a new column for the Mail Online tonight, there's more chance of Keir Starmer winning a charisma contest than furious Conservative Party members backing the backstabbing former Chancellor. So while the BBC might be confidently predicting at regular intervals that Rishi is the, quote, man to beat, they're talking from the midst of the Westminster bubble where most Tory MPs are depressingly out of touch with their members because the man who brutally wielded the knife against Boris is not going to be backed by Tory members to succeed him. I'm afraid I think I'm going to find it impossible personally to ever trust Rishi again after such a long-running deceit.